This video is called The Mother Wound. Growing up, I only ever heard about little boys growing up without their fathers, little children growing up without their fathers. No one ever spoke about the impact mothers had on their children's lives and how little girls and boys felt growing up without their mothers. I'm here to tell you that growing up without a mother opens up a void that makes you crave a mother's love, crave her affection, crave someone just being there for you overall, a mother's touch. Fathers are so loving, but they can't love you the way a mother can. Like, their touch is different, you know what I mean? Very different. The conversations I was looking to have, I was never able to have those conversations. Even in regards to hitting puberty and wanting that woman's opinion, that woman's help, you know what I mean? The womanly advice. It was never there. And so I searched for it in whatever woman figure I could find, older. I searched. In all the wrong places I searched. I searched for it in a woman. I searched for that connection in men, in my relationships, in my friendships. I would try to find people that would nurture me. But it turns out, in all those relationships, I ended up being a people pleaser, chasing after these people. People always talk about what it's like when you lose a parent, Love your parents, you never know when they're gone, you never know. You're gonna regret everything, but nobody ever speaks about what a child should do when your parent hates you. When no matter what you do, your parent always thinks you are jealous of them. There is always an issue. Nobody has advice for that child whose parents like to sabotage them, set fake scenarios up so they can watch that child be punished, to then in return laugh to themselves like something is funny. What advice would you offer that child? What advice would you offer that child whose mother says they're coming to get them, has them waiting on the steps for hours and never shows up? Growing up in those moments, I had no one to run to, no one to turn to. I had to internalize everything, and as a child, internalizing everything is not the way to go, especially when you were confused because you were a child. You don't know why your mom is saying these things about you. You don't understand or know why she isn't showing up. Yet no one was there to comfort or offer any advice to me. I tried to look to my grandmother as a mother, but things were always odd between us, as it was very obvious that I was a burden, I tried to not overwhelm or stress her. I thought maybe I could go to her daughter and be friends with her to see if she would offer any guidance, as she was supposed to be my aunt. And being a child and getting rejected by all the women in your family, it causes, wounds on your soul. I remember going to her, to my grandmother's daughter, and I don't remember exactly what I said, but I referred to her as auntie, and she told me, "Don't call me that. I'm not your aunt." And in that moment, I said to myself, I know my place with her. And so I distanced myself. My dad then found a partner, and I had hope, or so I thought. By this time I was 11, and he had proposed to this woman, and I was 12, I think. I was 12, because I moved in with him at 11, so I was 12, 13. He had proposed, and we were going to Jamaica to meet her, and I remember going up to her and calling her mom, because I didn't have a relationship with my mom, and I really wanted somebody to just show me that I matter in that moment, because my father was very distant himself, and I didn't have anybody to go to. I was going to sleep at like 3 o'clock literally every single day. I was really depressed. And I thought maybe, and she had kids, she had all girls, so I thought this was my chance to fit in somewhere. And so I remember going up to her and calling her mom, and she pretended she was sleeping until I called her by her name. Then she opened her eyes, and I then knew where I stood with her also, especially because she wasn't sleeping. I knew she wasn't sleeping. It was very obvious she wasn't sleeping, so yeah, I was seeking mothers in all the wrong places, for real. I would go to school and I'd befriend all the older women, try to be their friend, try to help them with their work. Interestingly enough, these same women that I would be helping would in return act like they were the ones helping me. I never quite understood that, but I left it alone because everybody has their time. None of these women were ever interested, and that's understandable. I watched a documentary on Netflix. There was only one season, unfortunately. It was called I Am a Stalker, I think. And there was this one girl there, and man, I felt her so much, because it's like, if I didn't have my head on my body, I could see, because she really wanted a mom. And I remember she said that she found this lady in the church that she really liked, and she went up to her and tried to get her to be her mom. Or said something like, not really tried to get her to be her mom, but like, tried to have a good relationship with her and stuff. And I think she said like one day she must have like referred to her as mom or said something, and the lady was like, "I'm not your mom," and like she like resorted to like going outside her house with binoculars and stuff and stalking her. That's to show you how strong the mother wound is, because look how far she was willing to go in order to have a mom, when I was so lucky, like not lucky, but I felt so blessed when I met my so-called church mom. That's what I called her when I was 20, because she was like such an eye-opening woman in my life. Like she opened my eyes in ways that I didn't even think that they needed to be opened. You know what I mean? Like I was able to see, like even in regards to like her, I remember there was like, okay, because everything is a lesson, right? I remember there was this one time she and I had this conversation. It was a while ago, to be honest. It was like years ago. And she was upset because she was saying, I can't remember what exactly happened, but she was basically saying like it didn't like basically like I had my head on my shoulders and that it sounded like I wasn't gonna need her anymore, you know? And I was like, oh, like, you know, I know this sounds like so like unhealthy and like, but I don't know, for some reason that night I stayed up and I was thinking about what she said, and I was thinking like, I must appear really needy to people for her to say that, like. And then when I really started to like take things into consideration and think about it, and think about even like things that my grandmother was saying, you know, about me calling and crying about wanting a mom and wanting her affection, and because even my grandmother wasn't really that affectionate, right? But at least, and I knew she didn't want to be my mom. It was very obvious. So I would tell her that I wanted my mom to love me, and I would only say these things to her because my grandmother was still in contact with my mom. So I was thinking that maybe she could convince her, or like, I don't know, like speak some sense into her, although I knew it was like a long shot. But I had hope, you know. That was until this whole thing happened with me finding out that, you know, the levels of hate behind my mom's eyes was just unmatched. And then it's like, what do, you know, other than just to move on? But nobody speaks about how hard it is to move on, you know? Nobody speaks about that. Everybody acts like, you know, it's just some normal thing, and that like, you know, your mom doesn't like you, blah, 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 or like, and then some people think that you should just get over it and just deal with it. Nobody actually like takes in how the person that's going through it feels. Like, your mother doesn't like you, your mother wishes you weren't here. How does that feel? That's hurtful. It's really, really hurtful. And it's like, I know why she doesn't like me, because I look like my dad, okay, even though I kind of look like her too. So I mean, I think I look like a mixture of both of them. So, but yeah, it's like the whole hatred thing, right? It's just strange. And it's not even like she made it like not obvious. She was very obvious with it, you know? So it's just like, what do you say to someone that's going through that? And I noticed that not a lot of people know what to say to me. In fact, no one said anything at all. Like, I have not had one person like at all, like, well, I've had like a few random like men on TikTok say like, oh, you don't deserve that. But then it's like, you know, the underlying tone of it is, you don't deserve it, slide into my DMs, you're so beautiful. Like, I haven't had a genuine soul like actually sit down and be like, man, like, how are you feeling? You know? What does this do to your self-esteem? What does your heart think about this, you know? I haven't had anyone offer me any encouragement, any love, guidance through it. I've literally had to go within and just listen to the guidance and love from my, you know, spiritual mothers, and let them lead me and guide me. People see me and they see that I'm together and I'm making everything look easy, but they don't know the battles that I have to battle, and they don't know the hurdles that I've overcome. And I've overcome a lot of hurdles. And I've overcome hurdles that nobody ever speaks about. Nobody speaks about how hard it is growing up without a mother, a mother to teach you how to be a mom. Nobody taught me how to be a mom. I literally had my spiritual mothers are the ones who taught me, so I shouldn't say nobody. But human-wise, no. That guidance, I just had to go within, literally from a child, because I was a mom since 15, right? I've been on my own this whole time. And honestly, I've always said as a child, thank God. Because imagine if I wouldn't be here if I didn't have my son at 15. He's literally the only reason I held on. Literally. It's just unbelievable. Not one person. It's like compassion doesn't really exist anymore amongst people. Everyone watches people go through trauma and just feels like, man, you're Iron Woman, so you can deal with it on your own, right? I'm there for everyone, but not a soul decides hey, let me be there for you, right? That's why I had to cut off everyone. That's why I had to start fresh with new friends, with a new soul family, a new crowd of people, because the old ones weren't doing it for me, How could you have siblings and not one of your siblings care about what you're going through? A mother that doesn't care, but a mother that would try to find faults in everything you do. A mother that tries to sabotage you. Literally. Nobody speaks on these things. But maybe that's why no one knows what to say when these things are actually happening. All they can say is, oh wow, that's crazy. I'm sorry that's happening. Literally, I've had to battle this battle alone. Well, anyways, I'm putting dressing on this mother wound and closing it up. At my age now, where I'm at, I feel like I'm done searching for a mother. I'm done wishing she was there for me. I'm done wishing she was there to hold my hand through it all. I'm done, trying to mend something that was broken from before I was even born. I'm so over it. And this is me closing the chapter on the mother wound. I'm over looking for a mother. I am the mother now. And I'm ready to just stand up in that role. Stand up as the mother role. And stop trying to look for someone to be my mother. This is me closing that door, that chapter.
In the forest deep and green,